Welcome back, Chipabubu, the podcast that you listen to when you want to hear information about the Premier League and all things sports. Well, most things sports, you know. We got lots of opinions and we like to share our opinions. So I'm so glad to have you back on this podcast. We have a couple of new guests with us today representing Manchester City and Manchester United. It seems like we can't get our friends that support Chelsea or Liverpool or Tottenham or any other, Premier League team to be on here. I think they're scared of the debate. But we're so glad to have Luazi. We're glad to have Taff. We're glad to have Tendekai back, who is an Arsenal fan, and then Ushe, who's a resident Man United former shareholder. So we run the gamut of all of red teams and blue teams, Manchester and London. A whole shareholder.
We share the Glazers.
He got bought out by the Glazers, and he's still mad about it. So we can talk to him about that as we go. But hey, guys, we are about a week away from the restart of the Premier League season, and a week away from the restart of football across the continent. So let's just talk about the summer a little bit. I want to hear some of you guys' thoughts on signings and where you think teams will end up. So we'll start pretty simply about and talk about who your top summer signing is and why. So I'm going to kick it to Luazi, new voice on the podcast. Let's hear your opinion so we can break them down.
No, man, definitely. Thanks for the welcome, man. Listen, let's not beat around the bush, okay? There's been many signings. There's still some more that's going to be done. Obviously, some more incoming. So we don't know. You look at the likes of Dembele going to PSG. You think of maybe Cancelo going to Barcelona. There's still some more work that's going to be done. But personally, my favorite signing or my MVP signing of the season, it's difficult really to think about this one beyond Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham, that's the guy for me. I mean, this is a guy that Liverpool fans were expecting to come to Anfield. You get what I mean? For 2 years, they were convinced that Jude Bellingham is coming to Anfield. And at the end of the day, only for him to sign out for none other than Real Madrid. And a good signing, coming at a high fee. But at the same time, you must think of the fact that of how he fits in there. I mean, this is a regeneration of that midfield, right? Your Kroos, Modric, Casemiro, that whole evolution is now, it's now moving into the next era. Now you got your Tchouaméni, your Camavinga, Bellingham coming in there as well. You see him as an attacking midfielder coming into that midfield. Look out for him. I think he's gonna be quite interesting. Like, he's gonna be quite good. I feel he's gonna fit in like a glove. I haven't been following most of the preseason game besides, the Juventus game that they played recently, where they lost. But either way, Jude Bellingham, I think for me, it has to be the MVP signing.
You tell me you didn't watch them play United? You didn't watch them play United as a United fan?
You know what? No, nah. Why waste your time with Old Trashford? Why waste your time with that red team? Can't even say their name. Nah. In fact, I was hoping. Listen, I was hoping it was a training. It was a training game. So training exhibition. You don't expect Real Madrid to put too much effort.
Oh, wow.
It's all about,
okay.
It's all about finding out who's where.
The banter's already started. Okay, so Jude Bellingham, I like that one. Tendekai, who you got as your signing of the season?
It's been tough, guys. Me, I support Arsenal, but that Havertz cats, I really don't understand what's going on there. And 65 million, I feel like we could have just bought an actual striker. Not Holland, but an actual striker that could have helped us.
Are you starting with your flop? You don't even want to talk about your best signing. You want to talk about your flop right away.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm talking about the flop. But just mixing it up. As you can see, my mind's on the flop.
Okay, tell us about your signing of the season first. We'll go back to your flop.
Signing of the season, I've got Moussa Diaby. I think that's a good buy and a steal from Villa, because there were a lot of other clubs that seemed like they were interested or that he was being linked to. But with how well he did in Bundesliga last season especially, I think it's a good signing. And the way Emery likes to play with wingers and stuff, I think he will fit right in. I think Ollie Watkins is really going to benefit from that. And yeah, interesting to see. After I've said all that, watch him go and flop.
What about you, Hove? Tell us about your signing of the season.
Yeah, I was also tempted to say Jude Bellingham, to be honest, just because he broke Liverpool hearts. So for me, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. I don't care if he does anything else. The fact that there are tears at Anfield is enough. No, for me, it's definitely Tillemans, simply because I think he's a quality player. I know he didn't have the best of seasons last year, but I think a lot of that could have been said about the Leicester team. And I think it's just pretty much his heart was not in it. But I still think he's a quality player. I still think he's got a lot of years ahead of him. And for Aston Villa to get him for free, I think considering where they were at, I think it's a very good signing for them. I think they got a very good player for free, and I think it speaks to their ambition. So that's my player of the season. Well, that's my signing of the season so far.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Uche? Who do you have? Better not be a Man United player.
I think our signing of the season is Arsenal's coach, the one we took from Arsenal. It's a wonder.
Oh, wait! You talking about the doctor that you stole from us?
Yes, that one. I think that's just brilliant.
Oh, wow.
I think Ten Hag saw that we had issues with injuries and we're like, hey, Arsenal have a good coach, just take him. And we just took him. So I think, I mean, that's one of the signings. No, I think the signing for me is Andre Onana. I think for the price is not bad, but I think for what he does to the team is actually quite big. I think for years, whatever manager came into United couldn't really change the keeper because of the wages and the gear, and you couldn't really say they had a certain style of play they wanted. But I know it's only been like one game, but two games. Watching him play is totally different, guys. Like playing up from the back and the composure. Teams can't really press you as much anymore and can't put you under pressure because the guy's comfortable. And even the passes he makes from dude like to the striker it's incredible. To you guys, maybe you've seen it before. You're used to it, but for United fans, it's a new thing and it's amazing. So I think he'll be good. I think the shift is quite good. What he brings to United. So I think that alone is one of the key signings. I think.
Okay. I'll round this off by telling you see, I think my signing of the season very much is it might be a surprise for everyone, but Sandro Tonali going from AC Milan to Newcastle. I think for me, it's the statement of intent of Newcastle going, hey, we got into the Champions League, but we don't want to rest here. We need to improve our midfield. We need to get some superstar players that have made it in other leagues. So I just, he's a guy that I didn't think was on the market. I never thought he would leave AC Milan, and not only that, never thought he would leave AC Milan to end up at Newcastle. So I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be super solid. I think what's hard about midfielders, he's not a striker, so you can't judge him by goals. He's not an advanced midfielder, so you can't judge him by assists. He's not a goalkeeper, you can't judge him by clean sheets or build up. But whether he makes that midfield tick over playing next to Bruno Guimaraes is what's remains to be seen, and I think he will. And hopefully after he does well at Newcastle for a couple of years, he moves to a big club. So we'll be watching him for sure because we'll need to replace Thomas Partey pretty soon. But yeah, those are the signings of the season. So let's flip it on its head and talk about the flops. So who do you think out of the players that have been signed this year are going to be flops? So we'll start with Tendekai since you already told us who you think. Why don't you tell us?
I've already told you. As you can see, it was at the top of my mind. Kai, nothing against the guy, but yo,
you have something against him, bro. Not convinced. No way. The Premier League hasn't even started, bro.
That was personal. That was personal. I don't know what.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really hope I'm wrong, but so far in the preseason, he's looked worse every time I've seen him.
He's looked worse every time I've seen him.
Which is actually sad. What more do you want? A Champions League winner.
Yeah. Yeah. What more can you say? Okay. So Kai Havertz. What about you, Luazi? Who do you think the flop of the season is going to be?
Yo, gents, yes, like it. I wish I could look into my crystal ball and be able to give you a definite answer. But I wonder about Dembele going to PSG. I really wonder if maybe, I mean, you all know his track record in terms of like injuries, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a wild card for me personally. I think big maybe. I think Dembele might be the flop of the season. If not Dembele, I'm looking at Lukaku because there's talks about Lukaku being involved in a swap deal with Juventus. That striker from Juventus, Vlahovic. Chelsea are interested in offering cash for Lukaku to get Vlahovic on the other side in Stamford Bridge. So those are my two contenders for sure. Lukaku and Dembele. Dembele is a big shout. It's a big if, but beyond that, I can't really think of anyone else. But that's my two wild cards for sure. Between Dembele and Lukaku, I think those are going to be the flop of the seasons. If I'm gonna mention and just honorable mention, I'll just have to also.
Honorable mentions. Okay.
I'll also have to go there. I'll have to go there. I think.
Okay.
Who was the honorable mention?
I think watch out for Madison at Tottenham.
Oh,
Ah.
okay.
I think he might just need some time to just get adjusting. Might not just hit the ground running as everyone expected him. He might be like a Darwin Nunes in Liverpool. You know how everyone expected Darwin Nunes to hit the ground running in Liverpool. I feel like Madison might also need some time in Tottenham. So just keep an eye out for that one. So those are my top three contenders for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna go because I think when I have Ushe and Taf go, we're gonna have a very good conversation about some answers that are coming. So I'm gonna pick mine. I'm gonna pick my friends in red in the city of Liverpool and go with Dominic Sloboslai. Dominic Sloboslai. However I say his last name there. I love Dominic. I think he's great. I think he's a great attacking thing. But my thing with Liverpool, that has been my thing with Liverpool all off season, is the fact that they have not bought any holding midfielders, and they've let go Fabinho, they've let go of Naby Keita, who was always in the hospital anyway. They let go of Jordan Henderson. So I don't know who their holding midfielder is going to be for those two guys up ahead, McAllister and Slobozai, to actually thrive. So I'm going to go with he's going to be the flop of the season. They're going to be disappointed in his output, mainly because he's going to be defending way more than he's ever had to defend in his career. But that's my person. So let's go with Taff. Who do you think your flop of the season will be?
Yeah, I have no honorable mentions. I have one candidate, cum laude, top of the class, stands out above everybody else. For me, it's Mason Mount. So
I was waiting for that response.
Yeah, Mason and Timothy Mount. In case there's any confusion, the one who came from Chelsea. So this is my rationale. I think being a flop is all about expectation, right? Is the player gonna meet expectation, or are they gonna fall below it? And I think the hype trade at Manchester United is too much. I think from the amount of money we paid for him, what, 60 million pounds for a player who's in his last year, who wasn't even starting regularly for Chelsea, and who Chelsea were so eager to get rid of. And I think the fact he was given the number 7 number, and I look at the way Manchester United play, and I think about the balance in our midfield. And I think what we could have really used was a person like Xhaka, right? Who could do a bit of both, because Casemiro's going to hold back he's going to be there. He's our holding midfielder. Bruno Fernandes just does whatever he wants. He roams everywhere. So the question is, what is Mason Mount going to bring to that midfield in terms of balance? And I don't think he's going to have the luxury of attacking enough. I think he also needs to defend, and I think he's just going to be lost at sea. And I also know United, so he's going to struggle. That's how I see it. So yeah,
okay,
my season.
Mason Timothy Mount, you're being called out. Ushe, do you have a dissenting opinion? Actually, Ushe, you need to tell us your flop of the season, and then you can interact with your fellow United fan thinking that your purchase is going to be bad.
Yeah, this guy. Okay, I think let me answer the question first, then I deal with this guy, my fellow, I think the flop of the season. A flop is a very strong word, but I think like what Tindakai was saying, guys, because I just don't see where Havertz plays. I mean, okay, the position where Havertz is being played requires someone to track back and defend and do things. Have you ever seen Havertz do that? He's an attacking player. So unless Arteta knows some magic trick, he might, because listen, he's a manager. I'm not. He's getting paid millions. I don't even have a dollar in my account. So maybe he knows
Yeah.
way more than me. But from what I'm thinking, I'm like, the position that you want. Funny enough, what Hove is saying, Mount would be a better player for the position than Havertz. I'm just saying, you need someone who to just harass and break up play. I don't see Havertz doing that. And for that money, 65. Mind you, listen, if the club tells you we want that money, what can you do? End of the day, if the coach wants a player, but I just don't see him. So it's not about the fee, it's just him fulfilling that position. Maybe they'll change him to a 10 or whatever, but where he is right now, I don't see him doing well. That's just my thing. And then to address this guy we were talking about, Mason Mount. Dude, you know, at the end of the day, right, the reason why, United, the reason we fell apart last season was not because we lack quality up, and you have to build a squad. And what I like Ten Hag, so Mason Mount is not meant to be the marquee signing. He's meant to be a guy who, look at Ericsson. Ericsson gets tired, dude. When he gets tired, you need someone who's got legs. And what Mason Mount does, which is not seen on highlight reels, is when you break up play, when you enter, when you press, all those things, it's not like pretty stuff, but you need someone like that who listens to instructions. And I think Mason Mount will do that. So you find there'll be games where you only really see him doing like bicycle kicks, all those things, but he is integral in the sense where you've got Mason Mount, you've got Casemiro and Bruno. So you've got Bruno doing his things up there, you've got Casemiro breaking up, being Casemiro basically, but then you need someone else to run around. When you try to play Ericsson, you see you need physicality in there. I'm not saying Mason Mount is a physical guy, but you need someone just to hurry around and bother people. So I think he's part of it, and that's why we're going for Amrabat as well. I think you get that physical kind of player, but I think the squad needs to improve. The same way Arsenal last season, I told these guys before even, was it September, whatever you guys were in top of the league and you guys are saying, I'm like, you guys won't win the league because your squad is small. So I think what Mark is doing is building a squad. So sometimes you want marquee players, guys, but no, you need players who, even if you come from the bench, can give you like a 7 or 8 out of 10, and that's the Mason Mount, I think.
I mean, it remains to be seen. We'll see if it's 7 and 8 out of 10. I said this earlier. Yeah. I actually would have, as an Arsenal fan, I would have switched. I would have had you guys buy Havertz at United and us buy Mount at Arsenal, because they just seem like they plugged the holes at both of those teams in different ways. But we'll see. We'll see how the season goes. These are managers that have experience. They've got ideas of where they want these guys to play. So I'm waiting for it.
Tate, we have a good relationship. We can always do a Alexis Mkhitaryan thing in January,
Never again. Never again. Oh my!
How did that end up? How did that
end
end
up?
That was Sanchez.
It was terrible for both teams.
Sanchez, the first training session, he wanted to go back. And the thing is, I could tell from his first game, you could see it in his eyes. Man was like, what have I done in my life?
I've made a mistake. I've made a huge mistake.
We thought we got you guys
with the piano when they signed him.
The piano with the number 7. It was great.
We should have known, bro. We should have known from that fake piano playing. We should have known from the fake piano playing.
I'm a piano.
I'm a piano.
He wasn't even playing real. We should have just known.
It was for vibes. It was for vibes and bands, and we're done with that. You were saying, what?
I wonder if Mason Mount brings energy into that midfield, right? Because you have a guy like Casemiro who's going to obviously be sitting deep. You have a guy like Bruno Fernandes who's going to be running all over the pitch. Obviously, it's quite clear that Mason Mount might be required to play a little bit deep. And I'm not sure. Obviously, Usha mentioned it very well. We're quite not sure about his tracking back abilities and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But then personally, I just think Man United need a couple more transfer windows for them just to refresh that whole squad and get the right people in. The numbers, Mason Mount is good, but I don't know. I mean, I personally start Mason Mount ahead of Ericsson. Ericsson comes in for him afterwards because I feel like Mason Mount would have more legs than Ericsson. But you just wonder if that's still enough. I mean, I mentioned it to Turf before.
It's not enough. It's not enough. But the question is, though, is Mason Mount better than McTominay? And the answer is yes. Is Mason Mount
There's
better than Fred?
there's
And it's yes.
there's stationary bicycles that are better than McTominay.
You know?
Hey,
Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I know it's
Hey.
rough at Man United, I must say.
right.
If you want a guy that can tackle guys and injure guys, Scott's your guy. If you want a guy that can retain possession and recycle the ball, Scott's not your guy. You know?
What's the story? Is he gonna stay? Is he gonna leave Man United? I saw.
No, there's big rumors right now floating around that West Ham will buy both Maguire and McTominay, which more power to them. We gave them 105 million for Declan Rice, and that's what they want to spend it on. You know, I can't tell them what to spend their money on, but I probably wouldn't spend it on that myself. But you know, Maguire needs a change of scenery, and a team with less pressure, I think he'll play well.
You know what?
Scott McTominay is just not high on my list of holding midfielders to buy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
For West Ham is good. For West Ham is okay, but I think for teams like United, Arsenal, City, even Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle maybe, but is not.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. So a Mason Mount type, it will take a few more windows, but that's the plan. You see, you can't buy the full squad in one window, and look at FAP constraints. So in terms of what the budget is, I think he's doing well. So a Mason Mount, is he the final player? No, but he's getting us to where once you get a few more players, he's going to be a very good squad player, that kind of thing. But you need to get rid of McTominay, Fred, things like that, and of
those
course,
guys gotta go.
Yeah, they're gonna go.
Yeah.
But West Ham want to play 20 million for each. Ridiculous. So
it's a lot of money. Okay, let's go ahead, and then we'll move on.
I was saying personally, I think Scott McTominay is the perfect Sean Dyche player. So I wonder why he's not interested.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's a person that we could use him. So let's move on. We'll do this part quickly. There'll be debate, but I just want everyone to rattle off the top 4 in order. So how you think the season will finish come May? I think it's May 23rd. I'm not positive on that date. But come the end of May, who do you think sits at the top of the perch of the Premier League? Who's second? Who's third? Who's fourth? So we'll start with you, Tendekai. What's your top 4 in order?
I think City, Arsenal, United, and I'm gonna go Liverpool.
City, Arsenal, United, Liverpool. Okay, not bad. Uche, what do you have?
I've got Man City, United, Arsenal, Newcastle.
Okay, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Newcastle. Okay, not bad. Luazi, what do you have?
It has to be City, Arsenal, United, and Chelsea.
Okay, you're bringing them up from 12th.
I mean,
okay.
come on, they have nothing else to
all right.
focus on besides the Premier League. They have no European competition.
We need to
but
add
they also
after
they
that.
also-
We
they
need to add
also
them to
sold-
Choms.
Yeah, they also sold about 6 of their starting players from last year, and they have a new manager. But we'll talk about that in a second. Taff, what's yours?
It's gonna be the same as last season. I see it being City, Arsenal, United, and Newcastle. My only caveat is that I am not sure if Newcastle are gonna juggle European football and domestic football. That's the only thing. Yeah, but I don't think Liverpool. I'm not convinced, to be honest. I'm not convinced.
Okay.
I think Henderson leaving. Yeah. I think the thing with Liverpool, if we've watched them for a while, I think that they rely a lot on the mentality that I think Henderson brought to the team. I look at Van Dijk, I look at Salah. I ask myself, who are the guys who are going to show up next season? And it's going to be, I'm not convinced. And I think, like you said, the midfield thing, figuring that, and also being in Europa. Guys don't understand what Europa does. Those Thursday nights.
Chick flick Thursdays.
Europa is the worst, bro. Europa is the worst.
Europa is painful, guys. It's painful.
I hate Thursday nights. Thursday nights are my least favorite thing.
And we all pretend like we don't watch. I'll be at home watching, pretending like...
Okay, let me round it out.
I don't know, Tate. I don't know about you guys in America, but here, when you're watching on SuperSport, they don't even have pundits. They just show random highlights at halftime. They're like, pundits for what?
We have pundits for Europa, but they're the worst pundits. They're all like guys that were former like US players that never even played in Europa League because they have the big guns for the Champions League. You know, you've got Thierry Henry, you've got Jamie Carragher, you've got Micah Richards, Kate Abdo for the Champions League. So I'm just happy to be in the elite. Let me round it out with mine. Mine is Man City, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool. And Taff, I agree with what you're saying. I'm not sure about Liverpool's midfield, but I do think they might be in a better place to juggle playing Europa and Premier League than Newcastle, who hasn't been in Europe for 19 years, juggling playing Champions League and Premier League. And I can also see Newcastle dropping into the Europa League by coming third in their group in the Champions League, unless they luck out and they get a very easy group. So
guys,
so here's the theme.
Where's Tottenham, guys?
That's a good shout.
You know what? I
Why
didn't.
don't give Tottenham a shout. That's true.
I'm not giving
Tottenham in
Tottenham a
Europe.
shout for the same reason that I'm not giving Chelsea a shout. I don't think I know Poch has a leg up on Ante Postecoglou when it comes to like coaching the Premier League. He's done it before. He knows what's required of it.
Yeah.
But just jumping into the Premier League and being elite is very, very hard. Like Ten Hag did well last year, and what also helped Ten Hag last year, which most Man United fans will agree with, is the fact that Liverpool fell off last year and Chelsea was atrocious last year.
Yeah.
So it gave that opening to Man United to be able to hit that top four. So I'm not anticipating 3 of the top 6 being terrible this year like they were last year. So I can't see Tottenham coming up there. And then Kane's gonna leave. Kane's leaving.
I think my
Bayern
caveat,
Munich-
just like you and Taff on Liverpool, I think Klopp's gonna do either really well this year or he's gonna get fired. I don't think there's an in
Who
between.
Klopp?
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, I can see that.
I can see that. But yeah, so if Kane leaves, you said, Wazi, you said your flop of the season is James Maddison. Here's what happens if Kane leaves. James Maddison is trying to pass the ball to Richarlison, who scored 1 goal last year. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, that is definitely
So-
a recipe for disaster.
So that's why I don't have Tottenham in there. I know I'm an Arsenal fan, and we like to make fun of Tottenham, and I do. But my 2 good friends here in the States that are Premier League fans are both Tottenham fans. So we've been talking a lot more about their team. So I have a little bit of sympathy for them, even though I want to destroy them every time.
Funny enough, even if Kane, right, hypothetically speaking, if Kane, even if he doesn't leave, for some odd reason, you still have to say you can't really give Tottenham that big amount, that shout of like, okay, for sure, I have confidence that they'll
Yeah.
do well, because it's a rebuild as well. But then but then at the same time, I think of the players they have. Your Kulusevski, your Son, your Wen-Bissuma, Richarlison, sure, he's not really good, but hey, man, listen, if you can, I'm sure he can get 10 goals in the season. I mean, that's not this is
You would hope. You would have hoped he could have got 5 last season, and he got 4, of which 3 were offside. So I mean,
the scary thing is that Kane
No.
scored 30 goals. Was it 29 or 30 goals? And they still
Yeah.
flames. So imagine
Yes.
removing a guy
Yeah,
with
that's
30
the thing.
goals.
hmm yeah, you're moving to have 30 goals for a guy with 1 goal and hoping you can replicate. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. So here's what I was gonna say, just to wrap it up. The theme is we all believe Manchester City is going to do something that hasn't been done, which is win the title for the 4th year in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I have a little bit of reservations about.
No, I'll tell you my prediction. No, United to win.
Wait, are you putting United at the top now instead of
I'm
Man City?
changing it now. United first, City second.
Okay. So 4 out of 5 of us believe Man City will win for the 4th time in a row.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, you know what? To back up Usha, right? If we're being honest, Ten Hag has spent close to 400 plus million. I mean, in terms of the transfer season, with getting the players as he got. You look at the likes of your Anthony, Lisandro Martinez. Obviously now currently with Mount. I'm gonna add Sancho into that mix. I'm gonna add Sancho into that mix.
Dude,
That's a
how
decent
much?
squad.
How much is
That's a
how much is
nice
Arteta
base.
spent, guys? How much is
that?
Arteta spent? Guys, leave United alone.
No, no. Do you know that Arteta has spent less than Ten Hag?
No, guys, look at the squad that Ten Hag has changed compared to Arsenal squad, guys. No, 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 no. The money is spent, yes, it may be less, but we spend more money with the worst. You look at the squad thingy Ten Hag had when he started, guys, and what he inherited, right? So he's actually rebuilding, reshuffling. So the money is there, yes. You spend. It's not like cheap money, but our guys, no, no, no. I think the person with who should be challenging for the league after spending is Arteta. Arsenal should be. You can't. There's no excuses. The money they've spent, and now they want to sign another keeper for some random reason. You guys should just win the league.
We need a better second keeper because
But he's a
we are
starting. He's a
fighting.
starter for that.
Yeah, let him come. Let him come start. I don't mind if he takes Ramsdale's spot. No one. You know what? I think I'm over this. Like, hey, guys are starters in our team. No, I want you to feel the fire of someone being behind you that's better than you. So if you're not going to play well, let someone else play for you. I think our biggest problem. That was our biggest problem last year. Was we had this like defined first 11, and then Saliba got injured, Gabriel Jesus got injured, and then we didn't have anyone after the drop off. So yeah, let's sign that keeper. But that's what I'm going to say. The thing with United is you spend a lot of money, and the reason you spend a lot of money is because you made a lot of mistakes when you also spend money. You spend 80 million on Maguire. He's just a refrigerator. You spent like 50 million on Wan Bissaka and replaced him with Dallo right after that. So those players have got to, guys like Wan Bissaka, guys like Malacia, they've got to play because they've been bought for a lot of money. They need to show their quality.
I don't understand.
I think Wan Bissaka though is actually now. I think he should be first choice this season. He's actually showing how good he is. I've rated in that regard because you look at Dalot, yes, in terms of attacking, all those things, but I think defending, Bissaka has always been good. So if you add that attacking element and actually, which you've seen Tenor coaching this player, even if you look at people like Sancho, he's a very good coach. So these players were there, like in the past, yes, Maguire, you can't coach him, unfortunately. You can't coach what he's got, so he needs to go. But I think other players like Wan Bissaka is going to improve the player. Sancho, I believe, is going to have a good season this year. It's going to improve. Anthony as well, because Anthony is actually, yes, is an attacker, but he adds more when you're pressing and defending as well. So there are players who now, I think, are making the right signings now. I wouldn't have paid 80 million for Anthony, but I still think he's a player that tonight I said I need to have in my squad. Same thing with Mount, where it's going to be more functional than just this individual thing. So let's see. I think, but I still think you look at squad wise, you guys, Arsenal should be. There's no excuse why Arsenal should not be going for the league with what you guys have done.
No, we're going for it. I just think Man City is still the favorites.
Of course, no, definitely. No, we all know deep down City will win it, but I'm just hoping that something happens, But deep down, we know that City will win the league.
Yeah, so that's how I feel.
This is my question. If Greenwood comes back, because I'm hearing rumors that apparently Mason Greenwood might be back in the Manchester United squad. Does that change where you see them sitting? If Greenwood, and this is hypothetical, he hasn't played football for a year, so it's all hypothetical. But if he picks up where he left off with Ten Hag, do you think that's going to help United a lot? And
I think, I think personally, listen, when Ten Hag got there, he looks at this Greenwood player and he's like, this guy's got potential. It's going to be a very good player. The thing that's happened, all those things, and I'll say my point of view. Listen, I still think he should come back. I'm not saying what he did was right and all this thing, but you get people nowadays, all these people giving opinions as if they're experts and doing all this tantrums and ultimatums. I still think there's room for him to come back, but the online forums and the major United supporting, they make it difficult for him to come back, but I think he should come back. And if he does come back, then I think we've got a very good striking option. Of course, Højlund being the main striker, Rashford should not be a number 9. Let him play from the left. It's fine. Greenwood on the right. Add competition to whoever needs to be there. I think it adds more going forward. I would want to see him back, but obviously, in this day and age, things are difficult. It's more nuanced than it is, basically. But I would love to see him back in the team playing.
Yeah, on a pure footballing standpoint, Greenwood coming back makes your team better. On a ethical standpoint, I'll let you guys deal with that as Man United fans.
But,
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
I agree. I think on an ethical point, I mean, there's some things that are bigger than football at the end of the day. Otherwise, we would support Real Madrid and Barcelona all the time. So, it's Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough boat to be in.
But let's be
Oh,
honest.
yeah.
Let's be honest, yo. Manchester United should be challenging for the league, whether they like it or not. That's a decent group of players that they've got. I mean, what's this number nine?
I
What's this number nine that they've got?
No,
9 goals
yeah.
in Serie
not
A.
yet. Not yet.
It's good.
Not yet, man.
I
Not yet.
mean, I think Ten Hag in the back of his mind would be saying the same things, and I think the players would want it. It's
good.
the thing with the league is it settles after 10, 12 games. You typically can see where people are.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get to see that after game week 12, we'll be able to see how people are challenging and how they're not challenging and things like that. I think it will
But-
settle. All right, let's do this. This is our last segment. We had two more, but we'll come back another time and talk about the other two things. But I want to hear before I let you guys go, who do you think is going to be relegated? Which three teams are your relegation favorites as we enter into the season? So we'll start with you, Tendakai. Who do you have?
Everton, Nottingham, Sheffield.
Who was the first one?
Everton, Nottingham, Sheffield.
Okay.
I can't.
Everton.
I
Nottingham,
gotta
Sheffield.
leave Luton out of it just to hope Nakamba does well.
Okay. All right. What about you, Ushe? Who do you have? Oh, he's very quiet. I don't know. He doesn't have anyone. Okay, Luazi. Who do you get relegated?
It has to be Luton. Also has to be Bournemouth. I think they did a bad decision by sacking their manager. And then also Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luton, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth. Ushe, are you back?
Well, me, I'm here. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Who are your three?
Luton, unfortunately. Sheffield United. I'll say Bournemouth as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Taff.
I would say Everton, then Luton, and Nottingham Forest.
Okay. Great. I have Luton. I have Bournemouth for the same reason you have, Luazi. I think it was a terrible idea to fire the coach. Coaches that keep you up in the Premier League they're not common. So having a guy that can actually, keep your style and keep you up is good. So Luton, Bournemouth, and then West Ham. I would love to see West Ham relegated. I'm very.
They got
annoyed.
105 million from Declan Rice. They probably have to do that,
Yes.
right?
No. They got 105 million from Declan Rice. They haven't signed anyone.
They've not replaced him.
They haven't replaced him. If you listen to West Ham fans online, they're talking about how they're European champions. Hey, we won this European trophy. Bro, you won a European trophy that only people that come seventh can compete in. Don't act like you won something big. Don't act like you did something. You didn't do anything. You won something worse than the Carabao Cup. And we make fun of United for winning the Carabao Cup. United had a much harder route to the Carabao Cup than West Ham had beating FC Midtjylland to win.
Guys, that's a trophy,
win
guys.
the Conference
That's
League.
a trophy, guys. That's a trophy. Okay, we'll take it. Leave us alone. Trophy.
I'm just saying. So I just keep hearing West Ham fans going, "Hey, we won Europe. How
So
come we're
guys-
not getting better?" It's because you won a trash competition in Europe.
So isn't it?
So-
Arsenal
so
doesn't
didn't,
have any European
Declan Rice.
trophy to parade about.
So didn't
That-
Declan Rice
that's
downgrade
also-
by
oh,
going
wait,
from
wait,
European
wait.
trophy to a non-European trophy winning team? He went down.
Let me clarify this for you because you don't know what you're talking about. Arsenal has 2 European trophies.
Yeah.
Both have more prestige. Both have more prestige than the Conference League. In 1994, we won the Cup Winners' Cup, which is now the Europa League.
Was that
Just so you
Second
know.
World War? Was
We
that
won.
Second
We
World
won
War?
that, and then
He won, really? That's not one a European trophy.
yes, we have 2 European trophies. We don't have a Champions League, which is the top tier, but we have 2 European trophies that are in the second tier of Europe. The one that West Ham just won is the third tier of Europe. So first of all, get out of my front porch with your nonsense about being European champions and Arsenal aren't, because we won the Cup Winners' Cup. And when we won the Cup Winners' Cup, there was only 2 competitions in Europe. There was the Champions League and the Cup Winners' Cup, and we won it in 1994. And then we won the Fairs Cup in 1971, which also became the UEFA Cup. So,
It's
therefore,
1871.
got relegated that season.
Was it
That's how old that is.
Did you say 1871? 18.
no, not 1870. No, I said 1971. Not
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
okay.
wow. I was gonna say
No,
1871.
I was gonna be like, hey guys.
1971. So just so you know, Arsenal does have 2 European Cups. Declan Rice is not downgrading for any reason, but I would love to see the back of West Ham. Go buy.
You know what, guys? Watch
That's
out.
that's
What
all I
if
have for
West
them.
Ham, if they actually become serious with the money that they have, what if they buy James Ward-Prowse from Southampton? That would be a decent buy.
Here's the problem with West Ham right now. That's happening with West Ham. The problem that's happening with West Ham right now is they hired a new director of football,
Yep.
who is highly touted on the continent, and he's trying to recruit players. And David Moyes doesn't want to recruit those players because David Moyes only wants to buy British players that have played in the Premier League.
Hmm.
So if you see all the like rumors for West Ham, they want McTominay, they want Maguire, they want James Ward-Prowse, they want Conor Gallagher, because David Moyes only wants to buy British players that have played in the Premier League. Whereas the guy that's the director of football, he's like trying to attract guys from like France, from Ajax, things like that, and David Moyes keeps shooting him down. So that's why, 1, they haven't signed anyone. 2, I don't think they're going to get better by buying guys like James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
I like James Ward-Prowse. I think he's a good player, but he's not going to innovate that West Ham team. They're losing Skamaka. They've lost Declan Rice. Aaron Cresswell, who is like one of the most senior players, isn't training right now. He's refusing to train.
What?
So they're in a spot of bother right now.
Guys,
Lanzini's
being a
gone.
Premier League coach is just pressure, bro. It's just pressure. But David Moyes deserves it if he's bringing this upon himself. Then he deserves.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you're not going to work with the guy that's trying to recruit talent for you, then you can't be that. And as we all know, buying English or British players in the Premier League costs an arm and a leg.
Exactly.
Look at Mount.
But guys, West Ham want to spend 20 million per player. They said it. They want to spend 20 million per player. How are you going to buy McTominay for 20 million? Are you going to spend 20 million on Maguire? That's ridiculous. So they want to use that money.
Let the man go, though. Let him go for his own good, bro. This guy must be on suicide.
20 million.
You see when Onana was
bruh.
shooting at him, his body language. Guys, I felt bad. I felt bad. And you know, it takes a lot for a Man United fan to feel bad for him. Did you see that? When Onana guys.
It's true. No, when Onana was blasting him, yeah, I remember that. Well, guys, we've left a lot of things on the table, and the reason is we have lots of things that we can discuss. But just so that we are kind to our listeners and make sure that they can actually listen to this in full, we'll end it here. So we'll end it real quick with a quick question of, hey, what are you watching this weekend? What do you have your eyes on in the sports world that you think other people should have their eyes on? So, Uche, what are you watching this weekend?
Ooh, there's no football, man. I want to watch Formula One, but there's a break, so there's nothing to watch really. I'm tuning for football. Yeah, once football comes back, I'll watch it. I think I'll catch up on TV shows in the meantime. Yeah.
Okay. Tef.
Clearly, Uche is very sexist because you should know there's a Women's World Cup. Hey, oh man, hey. I'm joking.
So the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm sorry, Uche. I'm watching Nigeria versus England. It's gonna be fire.
Okay,
it's gonna be a game.
Nigeria, England. Yep. Tendakai, who you got?
What am I watching? I'm watching the Community Shield. And
Sunday.
And highlights of the Women's World Cup, because actually, I'm sorry, I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. to to watch those
I
games.
see. I will also be watching the Community Shield. I think even though it's preseason, I still consider it a preseason tournament. Arsenal needs to come out hot because we've lost 12 in a row against Man City in the league. So it's time we change that. What are you watching, Luazi?
Community Shield, obviously. I want to see Kovacic lifting a trophy. Community Shield, obviously, it'd be nice to see also Grealish lifting that as well. And also Banyana playing on Sunday against Netherlands in the FIFA Women's World Cup. So that should be good.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, it's been fun. We'll get together again soon, especially through this first couple of weeks of the season, and see if we're on track or if we need to retract some of our opinions. But for me and the rest of the crew, it's been Chibu Bubu. We'll catch you next time.